Bahraini security forces have been deployed across Manama, the capital, and surrounding villages for weeks. Opposition calls for mass anti-government rallies Wednesday ended in only minor clashes. The renewed drive to get protesters on the streets is being led by a group called Tamarod, or Rebellion. It's named after the Egyptian movement that helped organise huge demonstrations leading to the military ousting of democratically elected President Mohamed Morsi last month. Since then, clashes have killed hundreds of people in Egypt. But there are key differences in Bahrain, says analyst Jane Kinninmont at London Research Institute Chatham House.
You wouldn't have anything like the same scenario in Bahrain because the army in Bahrain doesn't play the same role, and many of the security services don't include Shia Bahrainis, so you don't get that same sense of solidarity. Egypt has proven, though, that people power is still a force.
With army backing, the Bahraini government is successfully suppressing dissent, says Kinninmont.
There's been a preemptive crackdown going on for some weeks with house raids, arrests, including arrests of bloggers, and an atmosphere of great tension.
In Bahrain, Shiites form the majority, and protesters want Sunni King Hamad bin Isa al-Khalifa to step aside. The al-Khalifa government insists it is listening to the opposition and says it is undertaking democratic reform. Bahrain is an important US ally in the Gulf and home to the United States' Fifth Fleet. In May, 40 nations sent naval forces for joint exercises in the region. Britain was among them. Lord Avebury, a Liberal Democrat lawmaker in Britain's upper house, says his government is putting trade ahead of democracy.
Since human rights have been an issue, we have tended to ignore them and to concentrate on business, and that's the same now. That whilst the repression is getting more and more intense, there's no response to it from the Foreign Office, and we see them trying to get more sales of arms and business generally.
British Prime Minister David Cameron says he has discussed human rights with Bahrain's king and pressed the need for ongoing democratic reforms. A national dialogue between the Bahrain government and the opposition is due to resume at the end of this month. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.
I couldn't see.